Face your power, embrace your future. That's the new slogan behind the Miss South Africa pageant. The pageant aims to groom young women to become thought leaders and champions of gender rights and diversity. Our former title holders have gone on to become formidable businesswomen and corporate leaders with a big social influence. Now, as you saw earlier, of course, with our chat with Sandy, inclusivity is one of the major focuses of the pageant as transgender participants are eligible to enter for the 2021 leg. Now, to speak more on the direction the organization is taking, I'm joined now in studio by Miss South Africa CEO Stephanie Wells and Bokang Montjane-Tshabalala, of course, who is a former Miss South Africa and new director of Miss Universe Africa. Very good afternoon to you, ladies, and thank you so much for joining us. I want to start off with the slogan, the thinking behind it.
Sure. I think that it's all about really stepping into your power. I think this platform is a really powerful thing if you use it correctly. I think it's really powerful at every level, from entry to being crowned to walking any sort of journey with us. The idea of coming into this platform where you are kind of really, and we talk about facing your fears a lot, and stepping into this and just becoming the woman and being unafraid to be yourself.
Bokang, you would know all too well about being held to a particular standard as Miss South Africa, and not just as Miss South Africa, but just as an entrant. You would have been one of 100 people, and you would still be expected to behave a certain way, move a certain way, speak a certain way. What is the expectation you feel there is of the organization in general, and not just of the entrants?
I mean, when you look at how Miss South Africa has evolved over the years, before 1993, black girls couldn't even enter. And, you know, South Africa saw the very first black winner, who was Jackie Mofokeng, who really suffered a lot. I mean, she really, she was criticized because of the color of her skin and so on. A couple of years down the line, I'm entering, it's 2010. Black girls, you're not even allowed to enter with your natural hair. And then you get new directors such as Steph, who fully understand the importance of inclusion. And as former Miss A says, we were also there just to try and push and say all types of girls need to be included. You know, so I mean, the expectations is be yourself. You know, you need to be a role model. You need to be confident in your own skin. You need to know how to have strong opinions and not be afraid to voice them out. And so in my year, I think that's basically what I definitely concentrated on, and just doing my year. Remember, it's a different goal each and every single year, which means we all have something different to offer. So I think the best way to do it is to just let your light shine in your way. Work your journey.
Jackie Mofokeng changed the landscape of the Miss South Africa pageant in the 90s as the black girl. Zozibini Tunzi, Bokang Montjane have changed the landscape of Miss South Africa with, you know, going on with natural hair. They've even done it on the world stage. Now, historically, we've got transgender women who have been allowed to enter. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my goodness, like I'm saying, inclusion is quite important. Representation is important. And I think there are certain areas where they will say, I mean, I'm a mother to a daughter, and one day I have to sit in front of her and tell her the world is going to tell you because you're a girl, you're not enough to enter into certain male-dominated industries. And I think we need to set the example. If we fought so hard to have black girls entering, to have black girls with natural hair entering, then clearly we should be able to make sure that for the mere fact that you're a transgender and you recognize yourself, identify yourself as a woman, you should be able to enter. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're opening a platform that has historically, you know, been known to be a platform for women, and we're saying we are changing it, and we will get criticized for it, and that's okay, because we were criticized when we voted for a black girl with natural hair to win for the first time, and she won Miss Universe. And so I think we're here to break boundaries, and we're here to say, you know, basically representation matters in all forms.
Stephanie, Bokang is saying that there will be criticism and that you just need to be prepared for it and to accept it. You know, obviously in accepting it, you obviously then you challenge it in a way that you best know how to. There might be people, although it's been widely positively received, the decision to allow transgender entrance, but there will, I would imagine, some people in some corners who are saying that Miss South Africa is just doing this out of a publicity stunt. They're just trying to prop themselves up as an organization, you know, because they're seeing that there is positivity that is being, you know, taken from having Shudufatso, who is bald, having Zozibini, who is running with a fade and her own natural hair. Now they're trying to add another feather in their cap in doing so, where they actually don't genuinely care about the LGBTQI plus community.
Well, I have to completely disagree with that. Obviously, I do. I'm actually part of the LGBTQIA plus community, so I could never take that as something that I'm doing for publicity stunt. We actually instilled the transgender woman being allowed to enter in 2019, the first year that I took over the pageant. So for us, it's no way a publicity stunt. I think it has been publicized because of all the transphobia that's going on in the world today. And I think that it is important to have these conversations now so that you can see the different platforms that are stepping into this and saying that they needs to be education. We need to be educated. We need to ask the media to educate people across this country about what it means. What are we talking about? Some of the interviews that I've listened to, the previous segment around what's going on in the country. I think education is going to be a huge key of ensuring that those who don't understand and those who criticize really get the vastness and the importance of doing this.
Now, Sandy was saying that, yes, you guys have taken the first major step, which you've already taken 3 years ago, but more can always be done. I asked her what more can be done, and she said, I'd just like it to not be a drop in the ocean and not just be a matter of education, but, you know, campaigns need to continue to be happening every year and every month, if necessary, from the Miss South Africa organization. What do you guys, as an organization, feel more can be done?
I think that it is about standing for the community as a whole. I think it is about standing. I definitely think education is a big part of it. I think using this platform with a voice is a huge aspect of what we do. And yes, education may not be enough, but I believe that when you campaign and with the power of the Miss South Africa platform and your voice, I believe that people listen. And if people listen, then real change can happen.
There obviously is a concern of the exposure of trans women on a major platform such as Miss South Africa pageant. What is there concerns from the organization itself that you are instead not only, you know, empowering them, but also putting them at risk? And Sandy was even saying again that my life is already at risk every single day. It's not going to change just because I'm now on a Miss South Africa platform. Would you agree with her? Or would you feel that, you know, this is more about empowerment and you don't actually feel like their lives could be put at risk?
I definitely think that there's both sides to it. I think what Sandy said is correct. I mean, it is an everyday struggle. So I think that the platform at least protects you. I mean, we do so much when it comes to what we teach the young ladies from any stage in the competition. You know, talking about social media, how to protect yourself, because social media is a huge, you know, one day you're there and one day you're gone. And I think we've all seen that in so many ways. But you've got to understand that stepping into this is stepping into the limelight. And stepping into that limelight also means stepping into a power that you can have. That if you can take the hits, and it can be tough, the way that you use your voice to really elevate that could be really powerful. And of course, as an organization, we will ensure that you're protected in every which way. Of course, that would be our responsibility completely.
Bokang, what is the importance of pageants in society? Right now, it's focused on inclusivity, on empowering women, on, you know, turning women into business leaders, into corporate leaders, into people that are, you know, essentially pushing the agenda of uplifting the ordinary citizen, not only in South Africa, not only on the African continent, but globally, as we've seen Zozibini Tunzi, for example, doing. So what do you think pageants can continue to do?
I think we really need to use this platform as a way of empowering women of all kinds. And I mean, on our way here, Steph and I were having the conversation. We're saying, you know, being the director of Mrs. Universe Africa, one of the biggest thing was usually the pageants for the more matured woman is always the married woman. Now we have included divorced women and widows as well. Inclusion is so important. Representation is so important. And when you take a platform like this, like she said, being in the public eye, it's about the power. Once you put the right person in leadership, then that person has the power to change the mindsets and educate. And I think that's why pageants are still relevant. I think if any person had to come to me and say, do you think pageants are still relevant? I would say, look at Zozi. You know, look at breaking the stereotypes of beauty. I have a little daughter. Now she knows that she's worthy. Now she will know that her brown skin is beautiful. Her natural hair is beautiful. So I think pageants are so relevant. I think they're quite important and such a great platform for us to empower other women.
We're a country that suffers a lot from, you know, as you mentioned, looks and certain stereotypes of looks. One of the conversations that I'd come across, in fact, myself personally on social media not too long ago was the idea of colorism. Now, this is a
yes.
conversation that is had every other day. The last two Miss South Africas are, you know, beautiful dark-skinned women.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I still want to go back to this thing of they feel like they're undeserving. And why isn't the girl looking a little lighter? You know, why is the girl not having longer straight hair? When did we change all of that? We thought, men will say, I thought women are all about being lighter and having wigs and whatnot. But now look at these girls coming on bald, coming on, you know, with their own natural hair. Do you feel like enough is being done, not only by the organization, but just by people like yourself who are past winners to ensure that those ideas of colorism, those stereotypes are being changed?
I think we need to just continue. It's a fight that we're not going to win anytime soon, but we're still going to continue fighting and spreading the moment. And I think it's also quite important for us as Africans to stop apologizing or even asking for permission to be seen as beautiful. Now, we are standing at the top of the mountain and we are saying this is who we are as Africans. You know, we're not asking for your permission. So in other words, your opinion does not matter anymore. I'm a black woman and I am proud and I love every inch of my skin. And I think it is actually genuinely about time we do that instead of actually just asking for permission. Okay, maybe I'll straighten my hair a bit. Maybe I will do this. Maybe I will, you know. So I think the beauty about this is we're taking our power as all types of women, and platforms such as these are there to actually empower us so we can empower other women.
I want to leave the final word with you, Stephanie. You're obviously now here on eNCA to try and essentially teach people that it is imperative to accept everybody and their orientation, their skin color, their height. Who says a tall woman has to be the one that wins every beauty pageant? How much more of such campaigns can we expect to see throughout the 2021 league? Because I would like to believe that you want to ensure that the acceptance doesn't only start when the transgender woman is standing on that stage.
Definitely. I think you're going to see a lot. I think that at the moment what we're really trying to do is break down all those rules and regulations that used to be in place. It's a process, and change does take time, but we really are pushing. We're pushing with international pageants. We want to innovate. We want to ensure that we are the leaders in what these so-called beauty standards are. We need to push forward and understand that until we don't have to ask that question anymore, we won't be there. So those kind of questions have to stop being asked for us to be successful. So until then, I will never stop. We will never stop.